Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Took the day off today. I got a lot of vacation time I got to burn, use or lose as it were. Also got some tree guys here, taking care of some of the trees on the property. It's funny. I don't have this on my list, but there's a tree that was the day to cut out today. It was an ornamental fruit tree, and when we moved in, that tree was pretty young. It was only a few years old. And trees have a lifespan. Fruit trees, especially like a 20 to 25-year life. And I've seen that tree grow up. It's given us fruit, which was actually not bad. These Japanese plums, a little bit tart, but still nice little treat. And then the last couple of years has not been doing so well, but there was some other like infestations, like we had to get some caterpillars of some sort off of them one year, and it's one of those things where you just have to maintain it. And it's got this life cycle. And now that it's kind of come to an end, it's a little wistful. That tree was part of what defined the house when you drove up to it. So it's interesting, like even this little, or this tree, this ornamental tree, and it was good size by the time they cut it down. But the idea that even something like that takes on certain meaning in our lives because it's part of our everyday existence. We see it, we interact with it, we take care of it. It may take care of us, right? There's some reciprocity there. So yeah, it's like a lot of things. If it's every day and then it just ends, there's a stark contrast that takes some getting used to. In mathematics, there's this interesting thing, right? It's called ringing, or the Gibbs, I think it's Gibbs phenomenon. This idea that when you have a step function, this guy that goes like this, right? Like a heavy side step function. Mathematically, you can't get there from here in this nice straight line kind of paradigm. So what happens is when you sum the Fourier series, you get this overshooting in this ring. And then before it jumps to the other state, it overshoots again, then it comes back and oscillates, then it kind of chills out, then it builds up again. So anyhow, mathematically, when we have these large discontinuities that we have to traverse, there's usually this period of this ringing, as it were, but it's it's exponentially decays. It's just this, I bring it up because it's got this interesting analog to real life. When something stark happens, it's tough to overcome at first. It takes some time to get used to the new state, as it were. So I'm being a little bit wistful about a tree that just got cut down. Has nothing to do with training yet, but there is the idea that when you just start training, there's a period of acclimation. But if you're continuing to train for a long, long time, and then something happens, injury or loss of access to the gym that you had, whatever it may be, there's a period of time where things are going to be rough. Your body, your mind, all that stuff is going to have to change its state of being, as it were. So understand that that's going to happen, and basically don't beat yourself up because that's the case. Your mind, your body, your energy systems, all that stuff are used to a certain state, and when it changes abruptly, it takes time to get used to it. So the tree, your lifting, life, all interconnected. Beautiful. Anyhow, today I did squats. Got the day off, like I said earlier. Put in some extra time today. Really put in more extra time with the warm-ups and the Bosu ball work, which paid off, in my opinion. I've got it on the video coming up. Period of time. The last set of the Bosu ball kettlebell goblet squats. That's a mouthful. The last set, I did a bunch of reps. I think like 13 or 14. but I held the last one for a long period of time, and oh, that felt fantastic in my hips. So coming out of that, I felt really good going into the safety squat. Bar block, so those went really well. I drained myself there. I did 225 for triples. Nothing heavy compared to what I used to do, but it's improving. It's getting better. So I did 225 triples of that, did 8 sets, right? So I did 24 reps. So because I'm OCD about things, I did 225 triples, 8 of those. Then I hopped on, I dropped it down to 135 and did 3 sets of 8. Why not? 24 and 24, beautiful, right? Symmetry. Like it matters. But the thing I will note, when I'm doing the box squats, the range of motion is good. You'll see on the video when I'm doing the goblet squats, that last set, really good range of motion. When I took the box out of the play, which I did with the light sets at 135, my range of motion is I'm stopping. I'm not satisfied with the range of motion. So there's something mental there, something else going on. I'm not going to worry about it that much. I've been sticking with the box squats because it guarantees the range of motion that I want. I kind of put that in a short that I posted. These YouTube shorts are kind of cool, like a minute long with some music and whatever. Put some words on it. Hopefully that gets some people stop by. But nonetheless, I use the box to get that nice full range of motion. And it's an alteration of the barbell lift, right? You don't see squats done in competition to a box. It's just not done. But I'm using that variant because again, it guarantees the range of motion, and it's the way I want to train using that lift. And then yeah, so I just wanted to mention I do talk over the kettlebell Bosu ball stuff. So I'm talking through basically me doing the set, maintaining balance. You'll see like the first rep is kind of wonky. And then I talk through it, especially while I'm sitting at the bottom and how things are going. Then that brought me to this other thing, and this is kind of a follow-on. My eyes are bothering me. Whatever. That brings me to I think the last video I talked about stretching and stretching being useful, especially on days that we don't lift, and or that stretching studies are probably indicative of the usefulness of stretching because they are done in conjunction with the barbell training session because they are in laboratory. And again, a lot of the studies that we see for barbell stuff, right, they have to be done within an academic time frame. So it's got to be like a 10 to 12 week study. It's got to fit within these blocks of time that they have access to the gym, blah, 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 blah. Nonetheless, you have to take a lot of those things with a grain of salt because of the constraints of the design of experiment. Getting back to my point, when I'm doing the stretching or mobility exercises that I'm doing before I go to work out, in the back of my head, I've got what I want to achieve for that session on those lifts that are following the stretching and the warm-up. So all that preamble, as it were, they're all tempered with what I have as an expectation for the main training block. So it brings me to the idea that like you should probably apply something like an RPE there, like a whatever rate of perceived exertion, how hard you think your stretching is, or how difficult you think the stretching is, or how much, I guess, I don't know what you would call your initial reaction to pain, to stretching, rather. Is it pain or is it like the whatever it may be? Keeping a mental tab on that and not digging too deep into your resources just to do stretching, and then blow through those energetic resources that you'd have for the session. Point being, when you are stretching and doing warm-ups, keep in mind the goal that you have for that session and adjust that work so that you're not it's on a non-compete basis, right? That you're not killing yourself for the work that comes later on. that's also a concern I would have with some of those experiments. Like if they already give two different groups, okay, you do stretching and then a workout, and this other group just do your workout. Like, are they controlling how hard the one group is stretching, how much time, how much? Like, there's no, I don't know what the controls are, what the boundaries are of how difficult the stretching is. And I don't think those studies really elucidate that either. They're just kind of like, okay, this group did this sequence of things, and then they went and did this other sequence of things. Okay, that's usually that's something. It's qualitative. It's quantitative. It's not qualitative, and so it's kind of contradictory of the way we also think too, that we want to have quantitative measures on everything. But when it comes to some of these, how well am I going to do in a session? We have no physical gauge on our body. It says your glycogen level is this and your ATP level is that. We don't have these digital readouts of these things. So the only metrics we have are basically our feedback loop that we develop over time. And that is very much a qualitative thing. We can try and stick numbers to it like we would with RPE or RIR, which is nice. It's a nice way to bracket things, but it's kind of like the pain scale at the hospital where you go 1 to 10 situation, and the 1 to 10 from person to person can vary greatly. That's not the important part. It's that the 1 to 10 scale is consistent within the person. So as long as that's okay, we're probably in good shape. Nonetheless, when you're out there, you're doing stretching, you're doing warm-ups, keep those things in the back of your head. Don't dig too deep into what you've got available for that session, or else you are gonna not do as well as you wanted to. So yeah, things might feel good and you're warming up and blah blah blah. Oh, I can dig deeper into my warm-ups. Again, keep those goals in mind. Like what is it you're in the gym to accomplish? If you're mainly looking to really push hypertrophy, the bigger lifts are going to get you there faster. So warming up judiciously, getting things moving, and then going into those bigger lifts where those gains are made, that's probably your best strategy. So having said that, I've said enough. Had a good session today. Hope everyone else out there has a great session if they're working out today. And like I've said before, if you got questions, comments, love to hear them. Getting a few more views here and there, that's cool. Like to get some more. The only reason I'm doing this stuff is because I've got a lot of things in the back of my head over years and years and years of lifting, going through injury, recovering from various injuries that I think may be useful to some people. And I'm willing to talk through them from my own perspective in a fairly honest and manner, like the way I see things. And they might not be right, but it's just my perception and it's been my experience. So anyhow, again, hope everyone has a great day. If you're getting into the gym today, hope you have a great session. All right, peace. Okay, last set of kettlebell goblet squats. Got a 16 pounder this time. I did 8, 12, 16. Using these for hip mobility and also overall balance, coordination, that kind of stuff. So point being, I find these useful. I think anyone can do them. I think they're good practice. If you can implement this kind of motion into your routine, even if it's a warm up, which is how I kind of use it, I think it's worthwhile. So no, it's not that hard to get up, but you do need to practice getting on this, the old Bosu ball here. All right. One of the things I like about this thing is that you can tell from that first rep, things did not line up right going down. So you've got to compensate. So this thing really does keep you honest in terms of form and balance and execution. Kind of lost count now. It's okay. These are just a warm up. Not all that worried about the dosing. Really just looking for the effect at the hip. All right. I'm going to hold this one. Really let that stretch set in. Feels really good in my hips, my lower back. So yeah, I find these effective. Hopefully on tape, it looks like I'm pretty deep. Feels like I'm pretty deep. Again, idea behind a lot of what I do here is mobility first, strength second. All right. Nice dismount. Good to go. All right, so here's the battle between ego and reality. Trying 185 out for size. I've got an idea what I want to do, but then the back of my mind is also what I should be doing. But trying to meet somewhere comfortably in between. Not bad. Feels good. All right, sit 2. All right, set 3. All right, set 4. All right, set 6. Set 5 did not get on tape, but here's set 6. All right, set 7. Set 8. Last set. Getting tired. All right, about to wrap this up. So, lesson learned today, squats take a good bit out of me, even compared to deadlifts. Not sure if it's probably because I'm back-to-back days, but cutting back on the accessories a little bit as a result.